Hello and welcome to the Baker Senior Show. This is a fantastic day to be here. And I want to introduce you to someone who's going to help us figure out all the ads that we're seeing on television and in our mailbox. Oh my goodness, it's stuffed. Hey, Steve.
Hello. Hello. Good to
It's
see you.
stuffed with Medicare stuff.
Yeah, great. Well, some good news is that you're looking good this morning.
Oh,
You
good.
are
Well, thank you.
looking
I think it's
good.
I think it's a mental attitude change.
It's right here. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I was talking to somebody that I respect very much all about this. Just recently, I was talking to
Recently,
somebody.
yes.
Right.
That's right. Yes, if we can keep a positive attitude, especially when we go into our mailbox and it's stuffed with Medicare information and we turn the TV on and every commercial is Medicare, free, free, free.
hmm Joe Namath.
Oh, yeah.
You
Don't
don't
you
you don't
hate
know.
it when they use famous people that you really like in a commercial?
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
oh,
Are some people who are not so famous that we'd like to forget. Here they come up on the screen. and and
right,
they and they think they will appeal to a certain segment. So sometimes they do. Most of the time they don't. However,
right. So we are going to be talking about a lot of things today, and just in case you were wondering, we filmed this. It's live today on November 3rd, which we all know is very important in the United States of America.
it's election day.
It's tense out there.
It's election day. Finally, finally.
Finally, finally. Now, if we could just figure out how long it's going to take us to figure out who the actual president is going to be for the next 4 years, we'll be doing well.
It may take another 4 years.
It may.
Who knows? Anyway, we have to laugh to keep from crying, right?
You have to laugh to either keep from crying or punching somebody or saying mean things on social media.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
But anyway, this is the time, and everybody knows the dates: October 15th through December 7th. This is the time where everybody's sitting and they're just kind of relaxing, and they're pretty happy with their plan, and they're in on Medicare, or they're getting ready to go on Medicare, and they just don't, oh, what in the heck is going on? I have no idea what to do, who to call, what to say, or anything like that. And I'll just say that every year this happens. This year seems to be a little more intense, but I say that every year. I'm going, yeah, it can't get any worse than this, but it always does. So we always get through it.
Well, that's
But
what I love about, having you as a Medicare to go person because you've been through it all. You not only on Medicare, but you've helped so many people with so many stories. There's probably
right,
not too many people who could come up with a new scenario for you.
right. Well, the thing about it is, for years I've gone into people's homes. This is the way we used to do Medicare, and for through various sources that I use, they would invite me into their home, and we would go in and chat. And invariably, they would have a nice dining room table there, and I'd have a seat, and there'd be this, piles and piles of paper. They kept it, just kept it, and they told me, well, the more that comes in, the more confused I get. So I'd like for you to straighten me out. And the first thing I say is that stack of letters and papers and envelopes there is what's called piles of confusion.
I love that. Piles of
Piles of
confusion.
piles of confusion.
And they were just
So,
waiting for you to before they threw it out. They didn't want to
yeah,
throw it out because they were afraid maybe something's in there that they need, right?
exactly,
So you
exactly,
went take the whole stack and just throw it right in the trash.
exactly. And start
Don't
from
need it.
zero. Start from zero. And I used to do that for years. I've done that. But now, of course, because of everything that's going on with COVID, and we're in that season now, of course, and have been for quite some time. I don't do much going into people's homes, so I prefer not to have my face covered. I told my wife it's a shame to cover a pretty face. So she she says, "Shut up."
Oh, oh,
But anyway,
oh.
she says that jokingly, whatever. Sometimes she laughs at my jokes, and sometimes she doesn't. Most of the time she doesn't. She thinks they're corny, but that's okay. I go ahead and do them anyway.
Go ahead and
But
tell your corny jokes because we all need to laugh right now. We all need to
right,
smile. We all need a reason to just joke around and get rid of some of this stress, right?
right. But at any rate, if people have been watching my show, they know that there are two distinct kinds of Medicare, and they're like it's two branches of a tree that go off in totally different directions. So I have to orient people to see which of the two branches they're in, and then once I do that, that takes care of one branch. So now let's talk about this branch. And once I do that, then I can go down this or opposite. I can go down this trail with them. So that simplifies it almost right away. And then I'll tell them, don't even think about the other branch now that we've decided which branch you're in.
Oh, but
So
wait. The television commercial said it was free. I could get
yes,
free dental
it's
and free
free.
vision and free this and free that. And okay, why can't we go over there? What's wrong with that one?
Uh-huh.
I know you
Yeah,
picked this one for me, but they're saying it's free over here. Can't I have
right.
that too?
Yeah. When I was a little boy, I used to go to the carnival, and the carnival barkers were very good. They would draw you in, and say this and that. And you could win this. Look at this nice teddy bear over here, and look at this toy over here that you could win. All you've got to do is give me 25 cents or 20 cents and throw the rings. And if you hit all three of them, you get this teddy bear. Isn't that wonderful? And I used to empty my pockets. I would go with some money in my jeans and come back with zero in my jeans. And I would walk home. I used to live across the street from a carnival place, and every year they would come, and I used to walk over there and walk around, and I would have like $3 and change in my jeans. So I'm walking back home with zero in my hand, nothing. I say, what happened to my $3? Oh, you got gypped out of it. That guy was pretty smooth, wasn't he? Yep, he sure was. But that's just the way it works. And so now years later, that sometimes that feeling still comes back to me. But it was a good lesson learned when I was a little boy, about 8 or 9 or so. But
Yeah, it's a lesson that most of us learn over and over again every time we get somebody tries to sell us something.
exactly.
And sometimes you can see it coming, like if you go to an auto dealership and somebody comes running out the front door, you
Right.
can see it coming. And other times it's completely like sneaky. Okay. You don't understand it. If you think somebody is trying to bamboozle you, you put your guard up. But if you
Mhm.
don't, you just think, oh, they're just telling me this story about this and that. And then
Mhm.
you realize later, oh,
Right. Yeah. Well, years later, when I got into sales, it was just a matter of trying to take down the defenses. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to explain to you what the situation is here, and you make up your own mind. And I'm not here to sell anything. I don't, I'm not hungry. I don't need I don't need my next meal. I'm just out here to educate you about what it is. And if you'd like for me to help you, I'll be more than glad to do so. But it's not necessary, and there's no charge for what I do. It costs nothing. So just let me talk to you about it, and then we'll go from there. Is that fair? I
sounds
guess.
fair to me.
Sounds fair to me. So if I get out of line, you let me know. So now let's talk about Medicare and what it is and how it works and the history of it, how it was formed, and how many people are in Medicare, and the positive things that it does for senior citizens throughout the United States. And so they all of a sudden relax and say, okay, tell me the story. So I try to create a little, well, I guess it's what I call a quiz in their head. Okay, what is this? Where am I? What's going on? So I'm able to satisfy that, and then we can move forward or not. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. Whatever you'd like to do.
Well, the only time I'm sure that it bothers you or matters to you is when they call you 2 years later and go, "Oh my God, I made a mistake. How do I get out of this?"
Right.
And I think that that's important that they know that they can call you and you will
Mm-hmm.
help them.
Mm-hmm.
Now they might not be able to get out of it. Maybe they have some pre-existing conditions now and they can't get out of it, but you're at least you know their rights. You know what you can and can't do. You've got enough experience where you can help them and guide them for the best possible path to take.
The best possible solution for their situation.
Right.
And as we get older, we all get in different situations. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. And before long, what happens, over the years, year after year after year, I'm able to help seniors. And all of a sudden, I woke up one day and I said, I am one. Myself, I'm a senior. So now I know what they've been talking about all this time. So
Mm-hmm.
I've continued on, and I've got hundreds of clients. So I'm having a good time working with them and helping them, and I've become friends with lots of them. So it works.
Steve, can you tell us a little bit about the procedure now with COVID and the weird stuff that's happening in the world right now? If somebody really wanted to talk to you, what is the situation? They just pick up the phone? What do they do to get a hold of you? And how do you take them through this process?
They can just
Especially right now.
yeah, they can just give me a call. The thing about COVID is a lot of different so-called experts think they know it, they have the answers. But this struck this country with such a blow, and actually not this country, the world. It struck the world with such a blow, and it was such a shock to everybody's society because everything was just shaken. It's like a building or a house that was moved off its foundation all of a sudden, and it's like it didn't come upon slowly. It was a sudden shock in our society where people couldn't go to work anymore. They couldn't go to the schools, and it just all kinds of, everybody knows it. Everybody knows this situation. And over a period of time, we've reconciled ourselves to it, and but uh, nowadays, now people are wanting a solution, and we're trying to gather everybody together and just move them along slowly. And we're hopefully going to be moving ourselves out of it. And right in the middle of that comes an election. Boom, it goes on.
I
So
was
it's
thinking
like,
that. I can't believe that the election is set at the same time as your enrollment period.
yes,
Like,
exactly,
what in the
exactly.
world were they thinking? Like let's get it all this hard stuff done at one time, right before Christmas.
Yeah, I told my wife it's like like you have an earthquake and your house moves off the foundations and everything, and you kind of get your bearings and kind of figure out what to do and where to go and everything, and all of a sudden the tornado comes through. So, and, and blows half your house away. So you're going, oh no, what do I do now? So that's what we've been through as a country. And fortunately, those of us who've been able to keep our sanity will just know that that we just got to get through it.
Yes, bring people together. I can't wait for the election to be over. I know that there'll still be some people mad that, it went the way they didn't want it to go.
Right.
However, once that dies down, then maybe we can come together as a country and help each other through this, because it's not over yet.
Yeah.
It's not over yet.
That's
We've got a lot of people that are still hurting and still need help.
exactly. Exactly. So, and then not only that, we've got COVID, and then we've got the other issues like an election, and then we've got AEP, which is the annual enrollment period, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff comes over on your TV, and da 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 da. Every other commercial is Medicare, Medicare this, Medicare that, free this, free that. So I enjoy just reorienting people about their particular situation, and I'm getting quite a few calls from my clients actually, and they're seeing so much stuff on TV, and they're going, "Am I in the right plan? Do I need to do anything, Steve? What's the situation?" Yesterday, I had phone call after phone call after phone call, and so I'm able to revisit with my clients and explain to them where they are and what their situation is, and if they need some adjustments, I can help them with that as well. So I have a long-term relationship with them. I have this one family. Yeah, they're a Hispanic family, and there were 18 brothers and sisters. And years back,
That's a
they moved.
lot. That's a big family.
And you and I live in Texas, and they were born and raised down in the valley, what we call the valley, which is the bottom part of Texas, down closer to Mexico. But they all moved up here to the Houston area years ago. So I came upon one of the individuals, one of the brothers, and I helped him with his Medicare. And as each of them have advanced into the Medicare, I've helped them and their spouses. So I have this whole family, and my wife and I are crazy because every year for Easter they all get together and they have this one big blow. I call it a blowout. It's just an Easter time to get together. They all get together, and my wife and I are always invited.
Oh,
and
nice.
and we take our grandkids, and I throw them
Oh,
in with all the other kids. So we're now part of the family.
oh.
I just helped the husband of one of them recently. So it's just totally amazing, and I know people like stories, and I tell that story all the time because the father passed away, years back, but the mother, I'm going to say about 5 or 6 years ago, had a massive stroke, and so she was paralyzed.
Oh, dear.
So all of these brothers and sisters were local, so they all got together, and one of them was a nurse. So he showed them what to do, how to take care of her, how to move her over in the bed. And so they all got together and determined that she was not going to go into a nursing home under any circumstances. So they got, and let's say it's Joe. So Joe got together, and he was one of the older boys, and so he set up a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week schedule for all of them. They had their time, and they knew when they had their time, and they better show up for their schedule to look after mom.
Good.
So I had a lot of fun with it, and I'd go from one to the other and visit them. And I said, but Joe seems like the boss. He seems like he's in charge. And every single one of them said, yeah, he thinks he is. So they all had the same answer for
Yeah, he
Joe.
thinks so.
Yeah, and they all had different disciplines, and some of them were professional and some of them weren't. But Joe happened to be a taxi driver, so, so he was like he knew how to address everybody. So Joe took charge, and he was always in charge. And I'm gonna say, like, 6 or 7 years later, she passed away. But they were determined, and they maintained their schedule, and they saw after her and made sure that she was taken care of in her home.
That's
So
wonderful.
that's the most amazing thing to me, and I always think about that a lot. And I'm still really really good friends with all of them. So it's
I
worked
love
out.
to hear that. I wish we could do more of that. For those of you who don't know, I have a I don't know, a pull towards seniors. And even though I'm a senior myself, for
Uh-huh.
those people who can't, defend themselves, that's probably why I love Steve so much. He really helps people that are in the Medicare and older. Well, I guess you're in Medicare for the rest of your life. But I see so many um, seniors being put in a place and
Mhm.
to be taken care of, and because
Right.
they either have no family or their family is gone, not in that part of the country, something has happened where they don't have people like what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
wish we had more of that for those people who can't take care of themselves.
Exactly. Exactly. Anyway, that's what I'm about. I like to help people and answer
Yes,
their
you
questions.
do.
And
And I
so,
appreciate you so much. I have had to reach out and use your service, not for me, but I'm not quite there yet, but for someone I know who needed help. Her situation changed. And I think that's what you're really trying to reach out to people and let them know. Your situation's not going to always stay the same. So you want to make sure that you have Steve's phone number handy, because when something changes, you need to know that you're covered. You need to know that you have the best Medicare plan available
mhm.
and the other insurance that goes with it. You can help them with other insurance, right, Steve?
Sure, yeah, I can
Yeah.
help them with a lot of what we call ancillary programs that surround being seniors and health and so forth. And I could say I can help you fill in the gap here and a gap there, and do some things. And one of the major issues is always comes down. I say unfortunately, it always comes down to money.
Yes.
And some people have resources and some people don't.
Yes.
If they have resources, then they're in one direction. If they happen to have, if they back in their 40s or 50s, they purchased a long-term care policy, so they have long-term care coverage. That's one thing. If they didn't, that's another thing totally. So I counsel people and tell them what to do and what possible directions to go in and so forth. So even people don't have enough resources perhaps to make a monthly premium amount for traditional Medicare, and I'm able to find that out. I've got to find out what their health is and what's the outlook for their health and so forth. So all of those things we take into consideration, and then I recommend. I always don't. I almost never have the total answer, but I like to talk to their children and counsel with them and see what they would like to see their mom and dad do, and perhaps the children can somehow chip in a little bit every month and buy this plan as opposed to another one and so forth. And I can explain to them what they both do and so forth.
Well, Steve, let me ask you a couple of different questions about this now. Let's say someone is watching the TV right now, or they're opening their mail and they see something that is just, like, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. What
Uh-huh.
should they do?
Well, I think they need to do not necessarily call me, but they need to call somebody like me to explain the upside of what they're considering, but also the downside. There's always two sides, isn't there? There's the upside and there's the downside. And like we were talking earlier, if you go to buy a car, the salesman that comes out and meets you in the parking lot out there is always on one side. Buy this car, buy this car, buy this car. But there are a lot of downsides too. So somebody who's neutral needs to come in and explain the downsides as well as the upsides. And I can tell them stories. I can tell them, the different clients, different things have happened to them through the years, and this is what they experienced. And I can tell them my own experience. Uh, I'm a cancer survivor. My wife is a cancer survivor. I've had a quadruple bypass, so it's not like I'm a stranger to this. And I'm not like a 23-year-old, which I'm not putting down 23-year-olds but they just don't have enough life experiences to really know the possibilities that can happen to people. So, fortunately, years, I don't say years back, but a few years back, let me put it that way, my wife and I went on Medicare ourselves. So I can tell them my experience, and I can tell them that, when my wife really needed help and she needed to go to an excellent facility in the Houston area, and everybody knows pretty much what that one major facility is if they come down with a diagnosis of cancer, where they want to go right away. And because we were set up right, she was able to do so. And so pretty much everything was taken care of. But that's not perhaps the situation that everybody's in. So I can explain their options.
There you go. We always have to have options. Thank you for
Exactly.
doing that, Steve. Well, I want you to know that if your TV is blaring free Medicare, I want you to be able to reach out to Steve and find out the real truth. Find out if is it really free? Are you going to pay later? Just call Steve and get the scoop, okay? Right now is the annual enrollment period. It started October 15th. It ends on December 7th. You still have time. I know today is probably not the day that you want to do anything because it's election day. However, be sure to write the phone number down for Steve. Steve, tell us your phone number so that people can memorize it.
832-754-3292.
You heard that.
832-754-3292. And also bakerseniors.com is my website.
Ah, and I want you to be able to feel good about this annual enrollment instead of being panicked. When you open up your mailbox and it's stuffed full of free this and free that, I want you to be able to call Steve and get the real scoop.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Steve, for doing this. Thank you for showing up every week right here live where people can ask you questions right here while you're here. If you have specific questions about something, you can actually be on our show if you wanted to. How about that?
Yeah, that would be great.
Wouldn't it, though?
That would be great.
We want to be able to make sure that everybody feels that they got the right plan for them. No one wants to be surprised when they have to go to the hospital and they're not covered for something.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
I will say this, that now that the pandemic is here, that what we call COVID-19, we're still in the middle of it. I don't know if it's the middle or the start. Who knows? But wherever we are, we're in COVID-19. And these days, 90%, 95% of my experience with people is over the phone.
Yes.
So they can make a non-threatening phone call to me, and we can talk about their situation.
And you'll take the phone call.
Exactly.
Also, Steve knows how to use the technology today called Zoom, where you guys can see each other just like we are doing right now. He can see you and you can see him. That really helps to make you feel better about everything.
Sure.
And there's no pressure. Steve will help you figure it all out and get the best plan for you. Thanks again, Steve. I really appreciate you. You're awesome.
Thanks very much.
See you again next week.
Bye.
Bye for now.